Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Trade Talks Live. I am Roger Wakefield, coming to you live today from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Actually, looking out at the ocean. Randy's in Fort Lauderdale too, but that's a whole different story. I just want to say thank y'all for being here today. We do this every day at 11 o'clock Eastern time because we like to teach people about learning new things in their niche, in their industry, to help put them in the top 5%. And I've always told people, if you'll get up and study your niche or industry every day for 30 minutes to an hour, you can move up into the top 5% no matter what industry you're in. And we decided we could put stuff together where at lunchtime every day, people could turn on their headphones, sit and watch a video and learn new things. Or if they're able to jump in when we're live at 11, 10, 9, or 8 o'clock, love to hear from y'all. So if you're new here, welcome to the show. If you've been here before, we literally have no idea at all why you keep coming back, but we really do appreciate it. So Squirt, take just a second and tell everybody where you're at in Fort Lauderdale, because I'm looking at the ocean.
I will, guys, but as you can tell, I've got a PA system going on behind me. I am sitting at my gate because, guys, I will be boarding a plane before we get to wrap this thing up pretty much. But live here from Fort Lauderdale, we would like to thank Leak Pro for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks. We build the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And I built a couple different devices, one for outdoor, one for indoor, to eliminate that concrete of any slab you're listening through. So I always suggest checking out the complete kit at www.leak-pro.com. But also, if you want to, and you don't know anything about leak detection, you can give me a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO, and we can set up a 2-day training just outside of Dallas, Texas. You can come. I can teach you every aspect of leak detection and how to promote that in your local market. So give us a call, 1-8888-LEAK-PRO. I mean, happy Thursday, everybody. You know, it has been a busy week. Go, go, go. I've knocked out one of 3 flights today to get back home to the studio for tomorrow. So good morning, and I hope everybody is doing great, and even good afternoon over there in the UK.
You know, the funny thing is, Squirt, it's funny because if you'd have left at the normal time, 3 o'clock, you'd have taken 2 flights and got in at about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, right? But instead, you're taking 3 flights to get home by 3 o'clock. But then again, I woke up this morning at 1:30. Randy woke up this morning at 2:30 Bahama time. So really, that's 12:30 and 1:30 our time in Central Standard or Central Time Zone. So definitely a little bit different. But guys, we've been over there. I was over there teaching people YouTube. And it's really neat because I love the feedback that I get. And if you're someone that's thinking about doing YouTube, you're like, look, this is something I want to do, but I'm afraid that I can't. You know, I'm too old. Yeah, really look at this face. But if you think that you can't, and if y'all can hear this, there's a fire sprinkler or fire test going on today. You know, we have no control. I'm just going to let y'all know that.
Trades don't stop, baby. I love it.
Yeah, they don't stop at all. But I'm just going to say this, and Squirt, I'll let you do the business thing. If this gets too loud, we'll kind of work back and forth. It looks like it's going to be quiet for just a minute. But guys, if this is something you're interested in, because I truthfully think that being on YouTube leads to every other platform you want to be on. So if it's something you're interested in learning a little bit about, go to www.justmetroger.com. So national news, and I love this because, well, it's the Gulf Coast, and that is the Gulf of America. We did have a flight, a captain the other day, forget about that, and people on the plane were like, it's not the Gulf of Mexico anymore. I may have been one of those. But anyway, the Army Corps of Engineers greenlights a $2.8 billion flood protection project all along the Gulf Coast. And I love this because major approval announced for the Sabine Pass to Galveston Bay Coastal Storm Risk Management Program. $2.39 billion in Orange County, Texas. Guys, that's a lot of money to be spending in one county. especially on something like this. So I'm really interested in seeing how this turns out. Construction starts next year. There's going to be new levees, new flood walls, and gates to protect over 50,000 residents. 2.39 billion divided by 50,000. I'm wondering if you could just give them, 100 grand each and say, look, we're just not going to do anything. Y'all leave, do whatever you want to do. I'm just kind of pulling a weird number out. No, I know. No, because I'll tell you what we've determined the last few days, Randy, living on the water is not a bad deal.
Go. No, it's not. Whenever you get to go snorkeling on a day-to-day basis and swim with sea turtles, stingrays, fish all over the place, I don't think there's much cooler place to be. It's a great way to spend the week, work and learn from great people, and that's what we were doing. But I love that they're building a lot of this, like reinforce it, make it better, protect the residents that are there, because we know storms happen, we know they come, and we're trying to do everything that we can to protect those spaces, because I understand why people want to live there. Yeah, it kind of sucks when it's hurricane season, sure, but guess what? When it's not, and even through hurricane season, a lot of that time is beautiful and amazing, and you actually get to enjoy it. But man, it's going to be a big trade impact, honestly. It's going to be a massive need for pipe fitters, operators, welders, and concrete crews. Operators, big time, and concrete crews, like that's going to be huge, because that's mainly what this is going to be. It's going to be a bunch of big, heavy lifts that they're placing into places and things like that. But guys, we're going to have those fitters and welders to get everything set right and get it all welded up and built strong. And that's a great thing to do. But also, this is going to create a lot of long-term employment opportunities for the locals in the area, because somebody's going to have to maintain these places, work these levees, work the walls, things like that, because there's going to be gates and different operations that are going to have to be maintained. So that's going to create a lot of local work for the locals also, and that's just a great thing. I love to see that anywhere, especially down in Texas. I was born and raised there, so I just always love that.
Yeah, and the good thing is, look, if contractors want to begin qualifying for this type of work, apply for federal procurement and sub bids now. Find out, look, who are the big GCs on this? Who does it look like we're competing on it? Because if you can work with them and help them put together budgetary numbers, or maybe even a little bit something more substantial than that, a great opportunity. Before I roll into the bottom line, I want to say hello to Abe Bricat. How you doing, brother? Good to see you in here. Says first one in. Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Hope Roger and Squirt having a great time in the Bahamas. We were up until about 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago, something like that. We landed. I ran over here to the hotel, checked in so I could get set up. Randy's headed to Dallas, so he stayed there at the hotel. Had to come and get bags because we flew Bahamas Air, something we've never done before. And it was a little bit different. They're in no rush getting people on the plane. They're in no rush taking off. They're just like, hey, you know what? We got 3 people ain't here yet. We're going to wait on them.
It's on island time, man. Don't worry about it.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? But good to see. Hopefully we hear some cool stories. Well, you've already heard Randy talk about going snorkeling and things like that. Thank God the sun's out here. If I closed it here, I get really dark. I may have spent a few hours in the sun over there, and I had a good tan to begin with, so not too bad. And hello to Scam Probe Techniques. Good to see you in here. This is good afternoon from the UK. Great seeing y'all in here. Okay, bottom line, and this is a good one, and this can become a very controversial topic. Should you bill by the hour or by the job? Pros and cons and pitfalls. Now, hourly billing, there's good things about it. It's transparent. It's easy to just tell somebody, look, we get $150 an hour. So if Squirt's out on the job, he works 10 hours, guess what? $1,500. There you go. If you're doing that kind of work, it's ideal for T&M. It's great just to say, hey, look, a lot of companies are still doing T&M work. Now, there's some cons. You can get penalized for speed. If Randy's at one house and I'm at another house and he does the job in an hour and I do it in 4 hours, well, we get penalized for Randy being fast, or maybe we get punished for me taking longer. But do we really? Because I'm still making the hourly money that the company said we could make money at. The bad thing about that, it's hard to give somebody a final estimate. It's hard to be accurate and say, hey, look, just going to let you know, we get this job done for $800, for $1,000, whatever it is. Well, if you're T&M, you don't know that, or you can't tell them that because you've got T&M to help factor in any problems. If you're flat rate pricing or anything like that, it's a little bit different. The pros to flat rate or per job. And I love these because predictable pricing for the customer, and it can reward the efficiency. If I'm the plumber and I come into your house, you're the customer, and I say, hey, we can get this job done. It's $750. We've got it in our price book. Here's what all we're doing. And you show them. And then you get in there and you know what? You've got everything you need right there in your bucket, in your toolbox. You take it apart, you fix it. Gee, it didn't take as long. We got it done in an hour and a half instead of 2.5 hours that we normally think that it takes. The bad thing about that is a lot of times the customers are like, dude, you're only here an hour and a half. Why did I pay you $750? So be very careful. Even though we love being rewarded for efficiency, sometimes it can bite you.
Well, that's it. And you know, one of my favorites about this flat rate, honestly, is when you're a professional, like you were saying, I did it in an hour, you did it in 4. Well, let's say that was a pipe fitting call, not a plumbing call, in this instance, an example, because my experience and expertise gets used in that hour to turn that 4-hour job into a 1-hour job. Only way to honestly earn that money the right way is flat rate pricing.
Yep.
But if you've got a beginner, well, and you send them out on flat rate, it's going to take them a lot longer because they're not as experienced. It's like something we were talking about, you know, like with you and your, for instance, the issues we were having in your hotel room. They were trying to plunge it. You could tell they did not know what they were doing. Work. That's why it just took forever and it never got fixed, and they just had to relocate you. Yep. But if they had that experience, they would have been able to fix it in a matter of 5-10 minutes, move on about the day. Boom, here you go. You are good to go, sir, and move on. So that's something definitely to think about whenever you're thinking about this hourly versus flat rate pricing also.
I like that. Now, the problems with flat rate is it can be really risky if you underbid it. If you get in and look at something, you're like, look, here's how much it's going to be. And then you get in there and find problems. You've got to always be upfront and honest. It's like when we train somebody on leak detection. We tell people, I cannot guarantee you 100% that this is exactly where it's going to be. It sounds like it. But water does travel along beams, along rebar, along anything in your slab. And it's possible that it sounds like it's here, but it's not. But I'll tell you what, we're normally about 95 to 99% accurate. So we really don't expect a problem. But you've got to be upfront with people because the unknowns can kill you. And then a real world tip, hybrid billing. Flat for diagnostics, meaning when you walk in and you're like, look, we're going to fix this, but we have to open up the wall to see what's going on. There's a diagnostic charge for that. Hey, to open up walls, we charge $450. We're going to cut a 2x2 square so we can get in there and test and look at it and see it. And by the way, we don't patch sheetrock. We don't paint sheetrock. You don't want your plumber doing sheetrock, just like you don't want the dentist doing brain surgery. Okay. We all specialize in something. So learning how to do that that way you can do the flat to give them the diagnostics. Then you can do hourly or fixed rate either way to say, okay, here's what we can do this repair for. And that's a really big deal. So Randy, let's go to safety, because the safety habit that saves lives and time. And you got a good one here.
This is one of my favorites, guys. Pre-task planning, the safety habit that really does save lives in time. And back whenever these first came out, I was in the trades, and they're like, "Oh, before you start any work from now on, you're going to have to sit down and fill out this form of every single task you're going to attempt to do and every hazard that you're going to have to prevent doing that task." But all it did is it opened my eyes to every single thing possible, and it instantly lets you know everything that you're going to have to prepare for the day. And the best part is that brand new apprentice that was new, I would always make them write it. It's like, nope, you're writing this. Well, I got bad handwriting. I don't care. It doesn't matter if they can really read it or not. As long as we know everything that's there and what you're doing, it's fine, because you writing it is going to set that in your brain. Every safety device that we need to prevent all the things when you go to do that task. It lines it out so well. But honestly, like a 5 to 10 minute gang box talk, as we always called it, this is just a tailgate style briefing. Nothing formal, nothing major, guys. You don't have to incorporate other crews, but if you really want a good outcome, if there are other crews and things working in the area, get them involved so that everybody kind of knows what's going on. Or when you get done, hey, do y'all want to see kind of what we're doing today, and run it by them, let them know. It's a good thing. The major benefits here, it's going to identify hazards. With multiple people helping feed in the information that goes into that, it's going to trigger some things that somebody wasn't thinking about at the time when we started discussing that. And it's also going to assign the roles really clear. So-and-so's doing this, so we're going to have a fire watch. Oh, we're going to have this going on. So here, this is what you're going to do for the day when we do this. But one of my favorite parts is it's going to improve communications. That brand new guy on the job that had to fill that out, guess what? Anybody comes up to the spit, man, what all y'all doing today? Oh, well, we plan on doing this, and this today. That's what we've got on our JHA, is what we called them back in the day, but it's your pre-task plan. It's all laid out on this form, and it's like, man, here's exactly what we're trying to do and accomplish. And to be clear up front at the very beginning of the day, hey guys, here's everything we're attempting. And guys, if something shifts, you have to go to a different area. I've worked on a lot of big jobs. I had a JHA, we had to just, all right, toss it. Let's go over here. We're filling out a whole completely different one because we're doing different stuff. Some of it was similar, sure. Or you just keep adding to the one that you're on and be like, all right, look, this was for the morning. Now this is the evening. Different things like that. But the major one is being able to be aware of the risk. Like I was saying, the fire watch. Pipe fitters and welders, man, we are sending sparks and flames and fire everywhere, almost all the time. Let you know what weld blankets you need, how many fire extinguishers, how many different areas are you working. And it's just a great tool to start off your day right.
Well, and the neat thing about it, and the JHA Randy talks about, is called a job hazard analysis. And the good thing about getting everybody involved in it, they're all contributing. And, somebody may forget fire watch, but going through the JHA, it's like, look, we're going to have sparks. We're going to have this. Oh, by the way, there's a hole in the floor over there. We need a fire watch downstairs. And talking about stuff like this and doing stuff like that makes it a big deal. And then you document the talks. These are great for your OSHA audits and any legal protection you need.
Bless you.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to hit mute.
I know you were. That was a good try for sure. We'll go ahead and move on into new construction here, guys. But look, if y'all aren't doing some type of pre-task planning, start doing it and see how quick it pays off, and it's going to blow your mind. But honestly, so new construction here, prefab wall systems. This is cutting weeks off of project timelines. And it's something that we've talked about before, kind of at Parkland, whenever they were doing a lot of hospitals, honestly, they pre-build a lot of the med gas walls. They know exactly everything that's going to be in that header. Well, they built it into the studs and framework and everything and just send the whole walls up. They work with the carpenters to stay on top of this because prefab systems speed the jobs up. And that's the key here. And that's what we want to watch and pay attention to. But honestly, the rise of panelized and modular wall assemblies, is huge. It's trending. It's becoming more and more. Any of your walls that are dense and heavy with piping electrical that you can actually do without just tying on to the stepped up line, things like that. Get it done, get it knocked out, because prefabs speed the job up so much, and it can reduce your labor cost, which is huge. But honestly, another good thing here, it's going to reduce the job site congestion. You know, whenever you've got a lot of people in there trying to work in that same wall, but guess what? No, I've got one guy over there and one carpenter over there. They're prefabbing these walls, and then an electrician jumps in there and does his part and gets it in there and ready. That means none of those guys are in that room. They send those walls over, and then they have whatever teams placing those walls on location. And that's going to help reduce that congestion, like I was saying, because this is also increasing framing speed up to 40%. We talk about this a lot, prefabbing away from the job in this set environment, which I am not in today, obviously. But being in a set environment is huge because it speeds up the process. There's no distractions, no delays, things like that. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're in their set space and area. It's like a mechanic that comes out and helps you is going to take a lot longer than a mechanic that you pull into the shop. Why? Because their tools are laid out there and ready, not in the truck that they're going to have to go digging and getting into all the little compartments and pieces and things like that. The shop's built for it. You pull in, boom, we jack your car up instantly. Oh no, out here I got to do all these things, pull out these extra things. Same difference. But a big important part here is it does require a lot of precision coordination between the GCs and the suppliers. Like I was saying, you've got the carpenter, you've got the electrician, you've got the plumber, they're all in that wall. Somebody has to coordinate that so that everybody gets their piece in the right places, because you don't want to prefab something and it not work out. You're not going to lose too much. It's still going to save on labor some, but sometimes that rework, if it's real bad, it can cost you material, things like that, if you have to actually cut some things out and redo it that way. But a lot of things, that trades that this could impact: framers, insulators, plumb ends. But like I was saying, with those plumbing, the rough ends are going to have to fit a line exactly. And something they can do is they can leave a section that they fill in between after you set in that prefabricated piece. Oh, well, boom, I have this little piece to get there. If I do have to make an offset, I left enough distance to do it just in case, so that we don't lose on the installs.
And these are really neat, Randy, and I love it. And me and you've both got to work on the ones, the wall head walls in the hospital, to where you've got all the med gases, the vacuums, the oxygens, everything in there. And we've built those completely offsite to where once they come in and slide the wall in place, you just hook up the top of it and it's good to go. So there's great opportunities here to, like it says, speed up the job and reduce congestion. So let's jump over into mindset growth. Why doing it all yourself is slowing down your career. And I'm going to talk to myself a lot right here, because I try to do a lot of it. But being the best tech doesn't mean you're the best business person. Okay. Guys, sometimes that can kill you. And one of my first coaches was Michael Gerber, who wrote the E-Myth books. And he said, look, if you're the technician, if you're the manager, if you're the entrepreneur, you're not doing any of the jobs good, because it's impossible. You've got to say it's a 12-hour day. You're spending 4 hours on each one. If you're just a technician, 4 hours a day for a company, how good is that? If you're just a manager for 4 hours, if you're just an entrepreneur for 4 hours, you're not doing your company right. But signs that will let you know that you're stuck. Number one, you're always on call. You do everything. And I've done that for a long time. You know, we talked the other night about me running a service call the night before Thanksgiving. We did it because I didn't have enough people and I didn't want them to be on call. So I would be on call, because I'm like, look, I can be exhausted. I'll be okay. We'll make it. And it does. It starts wearing you down. But that just means that you can't delegate things. You've got to be able to talk to people. And you know, Randy, me and you are a great example of that. Before you came along, I'm working on stuff, getting it together for videos and stuff like that. Now it's like, Randy, look, I don't know, build a toothbrush. You're like, got it. Here we go. Well, Randy, I didn't mean a 6-foot toothbrush. Yeah, but Dad, this is pretty cool.
Yes, you did. Well, y'all wanted to order a 5-footer. I might as well make it 6.
Randy says, "Go big or go home." I love that.
I'm from Texas,
But-
baby.
Yeah. And the problem is if you can't delegate and if you can't give up some of the roles, you're going to lose opportunities because, like I said, you can't be the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician and really think you're getting everything done. It doesn't work that way. So you've got to hire help. My first help, I had an apprentice for a little bit, but literally Julie helping me with the admin, doing the office work, doing all that. She did admin, she did dispatch when we had multiple people. And then I was able to hire a tradesman for basic installs and to be an apprentice whenever we needed that. So that was me. One thing we weren't good at that, God, now I know about it. I teach it. And I think nowadays we're getting better at a lot of it. But SOPs to maintain quality, even though you're not on site. If you've got a list of everything that has to be done for leak detection, start at the meter, go to the valve box, do this, do this, do this. Because just jumping in and saying, hey, we got a leak detection job. What are we going to do today? There's a water puddle in the floor. Let's just make a hole there. Wrong way to do it. Matthew says, good morning from Midwest City and Boley, Oklahoma, Cheraw and Chesterfield, South Carolina, Valencia, and you got a bunch of them. Good for you. May says, yes, please elaborate the difference between the business side and the trade side, especially being a small company. Still wet behind the ears with only experience on the trade side, more specific. And the good thing is, if you want to grow and grow well, I recommend getting coaches. I talked to y'all about Michael Gerber. He was my first coach. If you don't have coaches, consultants, trainers, I've got people that I coach, and I coach them every month. I talk to them every week to make sure they're growing the right way, they're doing the right things. A lot of people don't have that. And until I hired my first coach, I didn't even realize what I was missing. But I mean, Randy, you sat in business training here the past couple of days. I'm watching you take pages of notes.
Oh, I've got a book I got to go home and read that I wrote. But
And then
That's the
another
thing.
book you bought.
and another book luckily I didn't have to buy it as a free one, which is great.
Oh, that's right. He
But-
did give away. That's right.
He did. And that's why, guess what? Don't miss those opportunities, guys. If somebody is given knowledge, take it, read it, learn it, take some notes, even when you're reading that and doing that. Don't forget some of these things. That's one of the first chapters of the book, that the free download book. Look, before you even start reading all of this book, go get you sticky notes right now in a pen so that you can write down some notes and stick them all over, because you're going to want to remember some of the things that you find here. And that's what I did, listening to a lot of intelligent people that are very business minded that helped me think that aspect's not, because I was an exceptional field guy. I could run a crew, everything. I was a great leader, but I could install wonderful. I did not have a lot of business acumen coming out of my trade, because they don't really teach a lot of business. So that's one great thing that you said, is find a business coach, somebody who's kind of been there, that leader, that mentor, to kind of help you, guide you along your path. Because guess what? They've struggled, they've fought through the problems. They're going to be able to guide you down the right direction.
I love this. Abe says, have fun in the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, the Gulf of America. Absolutely. And May says, more specifically, pricing out odd jobs. Imagine if it's too odd, there's a lot of jobs you can't put a price on. It's like, look, until we get in here and figure it out, we're not going to know. We're not going to know what it's like. We're not going to know what we get into. But then once you get in and see it, you should be able to accurately put pricing together based on your history. How long does it take you to do something? Know your numbers. You've got to always know your numbers. And I think whenever I coach people, that's probably the biggest thing. Most people realize they don't know their numbers. They don't even know what numbers they should know to find out if they're making or losing money. And to me, that's scary. It says, should we vendor out what we don't know? And how do we know if they're a good vendor? If you're going to sub out work, you've got to make sure that the people you're subbing it out to knows what they're doing and they work in the same way you do. We work safely. We get jobs done on time. We get them done under budget. And if you're going to bring in subcontractors, you got to make sure that they fill those same shoes. Because if you're not, I mean, the people hired you to do it. If you're hiring somebody else to do it and they do a bad job, that's not good.
That's it. And know your core values at your company and ask them, hey, where do these rate to y'all? And that's a quick gauge to quickly go, okay, kind of, are they in line with what our company looks at or not? And that's a quick.
AT Plumbing LLC says, good morning from Clovis, New Mexico. Love the information. Thank you guys. You're welcome. And May says, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. And we love what we get to do. We really do. We enjoy the heck out of it. Squirt, talk about Leak Pro real quick, will you?
So we'd like to thank Leak Pro for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks, and we build the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. Guys, I built a couple different pieces of equipment. I built a probe, which is T-handle style. It's made out of solid block aluminum up top. It's got a solid stainless steel rod for probing in and out of the ground. That's the one I prefer from that meter to the home service, irrigation lines, anything like that. Anything that's just underground, the probe is great. But I always suggest the complete kit because it also comes with that sidekick. And the sidekick's one of my favorites that we build. It's a pistol grip style with that aluminum rod. With that aluminum rod is what really enhances the sound even more. So whenever you go indoors and you're trying to listen through a slab, or even out on a driveway or sidewalk or something like that, pull out that sidekick because you're going to be able to kind of eliminate that layer of concrete whenever you are locating leaks. So check out the complete kit at www.leak-pro.com. But also, guys, if you don't know anything about leak detection and you want to add this to your business or your list of services, or even create yourself a leak detection business, give me a call because I do a 2-day in-person training just outside of Dallas, Texas, where I've got 11 leaks under a slab. We'll go through, we'll train you how to locate those lines, pinpoint locate those leaks. I've got a leak just outside of the slab also, and I'll teach you so that you know what that sounds like. And then I've got a couple sewer systems set up, a cast iron and a PVC system, where we'll teach you how to go through and actually determine exactly where a sewer system's leaking, all from that double clean out outside. But even better, Roger will sit down and kind of take a look at your marketing and your website and help you market this in your local area so that it's your phone ringing. And guys, make mine ring. Give me a call. Let's talk training or equipment. Give me a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO. I'd love to hear from you.
And the cool thing is, if you want to do what we do, we started YouTube 7 years ago. And we have grown to be able to share our information with people all around the world, all around the country. And it really is such a neat thing. But we started doing this because we've always told people, if you want to grow to be in the top 5% of your industry, in your niche, study it. Study your industry. There's new tools, materials, equipment, technology each and every day. So as we started growing on YouTube and realizing, look, this is a great way to grow a business because YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And if you can grow a business with that, why not teach other people how to do it? So that's what we've done. We've put together a course, but a lot of people are like, well, I can't take the course because I don't know anything about, I don't have this, I don't have this. You don't have to have a lot of this. So we created a free webinar to teach people about YouTube and why YouTube really is a great opportunity for them. So if you want to learn more about that, go to www.justmetroger.com. Love to hear from you and see what you think about it. So now we're going to talk about AllTrades. And this is a big one because, man, this is one that electricians don't, I'm not even going to go there today. But I know.
I will. Sparky's, listen up. Pay attention.
There you go. Learn how to do this. But job site cleanup etiquette, the unwritten rules across trades. Go ahead. I see you nodding like you want to say
Man,
something.
like, well, no, I was just gonna say one of my favorites. Debris left by some other trade, that's gonna delay other trades. Okay. And whenever you're going through and you're cleaning up and you're trying to clean that space, and oh, well, that other crew left that 2x4. I'm gonna sweep everything up but that.
Yep.
That is
That's
the
not-
wrong
that's not my
mentality
mess.
to have.
That's not
That's
my
it.
mess.
Like, that's not my mess.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's everybody's mess. We're all trying to get that job done. And if it's in your way, it's probably in somebody else's way. Now, if they're not right there to pick it up, like I've heard about this up north because of unions and the way things are, it's like that's not part of your trade, so you can't touch that. That's somebody else's work. And I understand that in theory,
See, I don't. Yeah.
but I am a reality guy. And guess what? If I've got a broom and I'm sweeping the floor and they've got a little bit of dirt, I'm picking it up too. I'm not going to avoid that because that's their work. I'm not trying to take anybody's work. No, I'm trying to have a clean work area so that I can work safely. I don't think that has to do with anybody else's mess. It's all mine. I'm going to clean it up and get it up out of my way. Good.
And really, if you'll do just a few things, it's easy to keep your area clean. Number one, clean as you go. All right. And then one thing Randy and I talk about a lot is maybe right before lunch, maybe right before the end of the day, everybody stops for 10 minutes and clean up your area. That way, when you come back and you forget, hey, we're cutting all thread rod, there's some pieces laying on the ground, you slip, trip, and fall. It's not a good thing. And then make sure you always keep walkways clear. If there's a path that people walk down the deal, don't set up right next to it and let all your rod or conduit or anything like that get over in that area. It'll mess it up. So just make that something that is a big deal to do each and every day. And if you do that, it will help keep your job area clean, but it'll also help keep people safer. So let's go into laws and licensing. And this is neat because proposed licensing changes for electricians this year. Okay. As we're talking 2025. Now, the National Code retest requirements every 3 years. We talked to Dustin Stelzer that just the other day about that. Electrician U, and he's like, wait, what? So, guys, this is something if you're an electrician, you need to look at. And then apprenticeship hours may shift from 8,000 to competency-based assessments. I freaking love this.
I knew you were going to like that one.
Man, I'm telling you, this is such a big deal because, guys, if I'm being 100% honest with y'all, I don't think I had all my hours in when I took my plumbing exam. Now, the master plumber that I worked for said, yes, you do. I've already filled out the paperwork. Just sign it and mail it in. And I'm like, okay. I'm not going to argue with him. He's the boss. But I love that idea. Now, there are some concerns from the field about the aging workforce forced into retesting. My deal is, look, if you're afraid to take that test, get out of the freaking field. Because if you're afraid, that says right there, you don't know what you're doing. Don't mean it bad. Just being honest with you.
That's it. Things have slipped. Like, restudy occasionally.
Then the big deal is newcomers face slower licensing if the standards tighten. And guys, look, I'm going to be 100% honest. I've had the conversations with Lisa Hill, with Frank Denton. I don't think that we need to wait 8,000 hours for our plumbing license. 4 years, people can learn brain surgery in the same amount of time. So my thought is, come on, we can shorten that up a little bit, especially with the way people have access to training. I've heard there's some pretty good YouTubers out there teaching people the right way to do things. It's something that we didn't have. So this is another good one, because let's go over into business training. And this is something that I think people need to work on every day. But Randy, you've got in here 3 scripts for closing more jobs without sounding pushy. I love these.
Like, I'm learning more and more about sales. And guys, I was never in sales. I was a worker and I was a workhorse. It was great. But to learn this, whenever you're stepping into the service world, things like that, dealing with customers, you don't want to be that pushy sales guy. None of us like that car salesman. We all know that.
Don't be that guy. It's fine. But a good one here is you can present value first. Okay, one of my favorites. Let me show you what's causing this issue and what all your options are. Because if you can offer those options, the good, better, and best, guess what? So many people are happy with it. And you're going to be surprised at how many customers are just like, you know what? I just want the best. I don't care. I don't care what it is. If that's the problem and we need to fix, give me the best option, please. That's what I want because I don't want to have to deal with this again. But that's showing them that value.
I love this next one, your social proof. Hey, we've done about 20 jobs like this year already. Do you want to know what the other people normally do? Guys, one of the greatest things you can do is provide people with peace of mind. And when somebody's like, look, I don't know what to do. I mean, it can be, hey, this is a lot of money. I understand. But what if you only paid half that money and it got done wrong? And then you call me back again in a year or two. And now it's even more than it would be this time. You've got to be able to have those conversations with people because that's tough. And then the last one is the urgency behind it. It's like, look, if we wait too long, it's going to cost more money. I've had people try to put off a slab leak job. And it's like, well, we don't have the money right now. We want to wait. We'll just go out and turn the water on when we need it and turn it off when don't need it, and back and forth and yada, yada, yada. It's like, I understand, but you understand that you had foundation work done and they want that fixed. And you're still telling them, hey, we're going out and turning it on and off. Well, they know that's going to lead to more foundation problems. It's not a good thing. Practice these with your team weekly. I mean, literally, you can have somebody. I mean, I met a great guy one day that loved the role playing. And when one of his plumbers had come in, he'd bring them in and he'd ask them questions. And it was to put them in a situation where they knew right off the top of their head how to have conversations like that because they did it every day. And I think that's
it. And that's the key to it. And that's what I've kind of learned. It's like, I'm not trying to sell my stuff to everybody, guys. No.
Everybody's not your customer.
That is right. Like, and I was talking to some of these business people this week, and they're like, you tell customers to call a different company. If you want to go into pool leak detection, I sure do. If that's what your specialty is, yeah, you can use mine. I can teach you how to use it to do that. But this is probably going to be better because he's a pool guy. That's what he does. That's his full wheelhouse. That's the majors. And the key to that is, look, you're not trying to sell everything. You were trying to help them solve their problems. Here's what it is. Here's the options that I can offer you. It's your choice though. I'm not going to force any decision on you. Now, I'm going to show you the problem. Do you want to solve that problem or not? I can be your solution, but that's completely up to you. And then that's a good way to not be a pushy sales guy.
Yeah, and it's something you got to practice or else it can sound pushy. So let's talk about vehicles here. And you brought up diesel versus gas for construction fleets. Now, we've talked about this in the past. There's good things about each. Randy, if you were starting your own company right now, residential service company, and you had to buy 3 or 4 vehicles, which do you think you would buy? Before you even start talking, just think and say, hey, this is probably what I would do.
Honestly, probably a combination of both. Because I'm not, like, if it was just service and going into existing places and working, sure. But if I'm hauling something, if I want to do a bigger job and need to haul some equipment, a lot of tools, a lot of things, I want to hook a trailer up, I'm going to want a diesel engine pulling that because it is going to be the most efficient, the better off, and I understand that. So that's why I can quickly go, you know what, I'm going to have a little bit of both. I'm going to have a mixed fleet. It's not going to be one or the other, and that's me personally. And if I'm in a tight urban area downtown somewhere, I'm probably going to have electric mixed in there too, guys, because that can be a great thing and lead to a lot of savings possibly. Now, I'm not huge on diving into all the electrical vehicles because I like my big truck and I've always run up around gas and diesel engines, and I love that. And I like to go on road trips. I don't want to have to stop and sit and wait for anything to recharge over and over. Even though I know I've talked to a lot of people and they're like, look, it's actually not that bad. How long do you spend at the gas station filling up, going to the bathroom, grabbing some snacks, whatever, you know, and when you're on a road trip, you typically got the kids. So those typically take a while. But some of the good diesel pros here, torque for the towing, like I was saying, and it's going to be better mile per gallon on long hauls. Also, they typically last a lot longer. They have a longer lifespan.
Here in Broward County.
Guess what's in all those 18-wheelers that we see running nonstop? Big
Yep.
diesel engines. That's what they're made for. But some of the cons, it is going to be more expensive on the maintenance end, the emission requirements. You're deaf. There's a lot of extras that do go into a diesel engine that's going to lead to more cost. But the duration and lifetime of that vehicle and the towing capabilities is just a great pro for it. So if you're going to be towing a lot of things, I would definitely look into diesel well. But then gas pros, it's cheaper up front and the maintenance. Like I think when I was looking at my truck, it was like, okay, do I want a diesel or do I want the extra long cab? Well, my kids are really grown, so I want the extra long cab in case we do a road trip over the diesel, even though I knew it was going to be a little less, but it's still a good size truck to be able to do some hauling for local stuff. But
Love that.
easier cold starts. Okay. Wintertime, guess what? Do not forget to plug in that diesel if you are in a cold environment, because it's not going to start. You're going to have to plug it in and get it warm so that you'll be able to. And they're also better for short range urban use. But like I was saying, if you're in that major urban areas and cities, but you may even think about electrical here also. I'm not going to leave that out of this discussion for sure.
All right. So social media spotlight. I want to roll over into it. Backyard design guy.
I'll probably head out here in about 3 or 4 minutes so I can get everything shut down and packed up. Just letting everybody
Okay. If you'll talk about why you picked this real quick, I'll pull up the website.
Backyard design guy. That's good. So something we were talking about the other day is, you know, turning your backyard into a resort. Okay. And some of these outdoor kitchens and things like that, that are just turning into great things to do. And it's become, you're seeing it more and more. So I just wanted to go a little different on social media today and spotlight somebody that's actually building these things and doing these, giving you different tips and ideas of how to do this in your space. So definitely a good one. Has a pretty good following and everything. So
Good deal.
he showcases some jaw-dropping custom outdoor kitchens and patio builds. And I think you're going to have fun kind of cruising through this one because I did see some really neat stuff.
No, I looked it up whenever I pulled it up a while ago. So I'm
Good. Yeah.
Squirt, look here. I appreciate you jumping in. I want you to have time to go get water, go to the restroom, drink another mimosa, whatever. Thank you so much for jumping in here today. I appreciate it.
Everybody, that's it. Man, I'm so glad that you showed up today. I hope to see you here tomorrow. I will be holding down the fort at the studio. Everybody, have a great day. Hit it up and hard. See y'all later. Wrap this up.
Bye, Squirt. All right. So while Squirt's getting out of here, I'm going to roll over here to this and come in and look at it, because when you look at the videos, you look at the latest, look at the different pricing, $50,000, $150,000, $350,000. Man, there's so much cool stuff here. I love the outdoor kitchens. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So looking at stuff like this, it's just like, man, you know what? This is something that I think is beautiful. I think this can add so much value to your house. And it's just, I love what he's doing. Not a very big channel, 180,000 subscribers. Don't get me wrong, it's good. But as beautiful as this stuff is, I would think it would be bigger. Now, let's go into his most popular videos, 10 small backyard design secrets. Now, I love that because my backyard is not very big, at least not at my house. Over at the property, I've got 10 acres. So it's like, okay. But you got privacy ideas, best backyard ideas on a budget, patio covers. There's just so much good stuff here. So to me, I love watching this. Now, he does also do some shorts where you see a little bit going on here. I love all the outdoor kitchen stuff. I love the stainless steel, the swimming pools, the covered decks, just all kinds of neat stuff. So when you come in and look at it, it's like, you know
Hello,
what?
everyone.
This
It's
guy's
Micah,
really doing
outdoor
something
living
pretty cool.
guy. Welcome to my channel.
And it's neat. He's got God, what did I say? If I go here, 30 million, almost 31 million views. Man, I really do. I think stuff like this is so cool. And when you come in and look at it and see what all they're doing, it's neat. And the 3D backyard design, I like this backyard diving guide. Yeah, backyard. There we go. Backyarddivingguide.com, 3D design process. A Zoom meeting with Micah, so you can actually schedule a meeting with him if you want to talk about backyards and stuff like this. So many good things here. And again, guys, if y'all never come in and looked at a YouTube channel like this, come in and click on the more button. And it tells you a little bit about it. Then you come down, there's links, but then they've been around since 2010. So, man, he's been doing this a lot longer than me, it looks like. 180,000 subs, 591 videos. Now, we come over here and we go to videos and go to the oldest. Yeah, 11 years ago. But look at some of this. This is just really neat stuff. Now, these are more like backyard oases, it looks like. I like this, like down on the river or the creek or something. Looks like that may be how he built part of it. But then just looking at stuff like this and seeing how they do things, to me, I love this. I think it's really cool. And I love the inside of that. I don't know if y'all saw that, but let me hit this. Look at the inside of that roof. That was beautiful. That is neat. And if any of y'all do stuff like this, if this is what you do for a living, it may be, hey, this is something that we could do that make YouTube videos. It really can be pretty cool. I'm going to jump in comments real quick. Make that go away. Justin Spalding says, Austin, Texas doesn't have to worry about it. Austin, Texas doesn't have to worry about a lot, brother. That's for sure. Mage Matthews says, purchasing used diesel vehicles. What are some big no-nos when it comes to mileage, year, and maybe even make and model? And I'll tell you what, Mage, I would contact a mechanic. If you've got a mechanic that you work with, contact them and ask them and say, look, if you were buying vehicles, what would you do? What would it look like? And maybe even ask him, hey, can I bring these vehicles over and have you do an eyeball test on them? Maybe you pay him money and he does a mechanical check on it. To me, if I'm spending money like that, I would love to have my mechanic go through it. I think that's the best thing that you can do. Mace just take care, Squirt. He is going to be on a plane. He's finally gets to start his trip home. But the good thing is, guys, he'll be home in about 4 hours. Originally, he wasn't going to get home till about 9 o'clock tonight. So he is really, really happy. Miss Lori McNeil says, I have been researching ideas for a while. So many beautiful ideas. I want to build a backyard oasis. I don't want just a patio cover. I don't want just a kitchen. I want to do so many things, and I think it's a great opportunity. And he says, DIY outdoor kitchen, what is your opinion about it? Or do you prefer vendoring it out? Look, if it's something that I'm good at, if it's plumbing, if it's construction, things like that, I don't mind doing it. But when it comes to stuff like this, I really want a professional to do it. I'm a good plumber. And I tell people all the time when they hire me, look, when we cut a hole in your wall, you don't want me to fix it. I'm not going to do it as good. So my thought process here is, if I'm not going to fix that sheetrock as good as a professional would in my own house or a customer's house, why would I want to try to build an outdoor kitchen? Now, there's a lot of things that I will try to do. Me and Randy built the training center for League Pro. We dug the trenches. We buried the lines. We didn't do the concrete, but we did the plumbing underneath it. So being able to look at stuff like that and say, look, what are we good at? What is our specialty? What's in our wheelhouse? If something's not in your wheelhouse and you're like, look, I just suck at that, don't build it. Don't be the one who does it. Do it someone else. So anyway, something to think about. Justin Spalding says, "Will the diesel freezing?" And look, if you're up north, and Justin, it's a great thing because Randy talked about it a while ago. If you're up north and freezing is a problem, diesel may not be the best thing for you, or you may need to make sure that you can get electrical outlets over to it when it needs to be done. Because if you can't, you may run into a problem that is going to be a big problem later. I'm going to try to do something here. Let me see if it'll come up. There we go. And I'm going to come back over here and share one more thing with y'all real quick. Before we get out of here today, I'm going to talk about Leak Pro. And this video is sponsored by Leak Pro. It is the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And I love it because we teach you how to locate leaks like a pro. Anybody out there that's thinking about doing leak detection, whether you've got a plumbing company or you're a plumber and you want to do this, I would literally tell you, look, how to do it right. And we built a training center that it doesn't just teach you how to do it. It gives you the confidence because you spend just outside of Dallas with Randy. I try to be there sometimes. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But here's the deal. You learn how to do it. You're on a slab, tell you, hey, there's a leak out here somewhere. You learn how to do it. And you don't just learn to find the water leaks, you learn to locate the lines. Then you learn to find the leaks. Then you learn to pinpoint them exactly where they are. And that's on the water side. When you come out, day 2, we also teach you how to do it on sewer lines. How do you isolate leaks on sewer lines so you know right where they're at? Because if you can learn to do that, you can do things that most plumbers in your town can't. And whenever we show people how to do it, I remember teaching Randy's like, Dad, there's make that test ball go sideways. It's like, yeah, there is. And then I showed him and he's like, oh my gosh, this is a game changer. So if you're interested in the training, please give Squirt a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO. But before you do that, you're going to have to buy the equipment. The equipment is amazing. We always recommend the complete kit. I think it is the best equipment out there. You've got the Sidekick, the short handled pistol grip with the aluminum rod. This is great for inside the house, listening to valves, listening to angle stops and things like that. Also, if the leak's under the slab and you pull back carpet or you're listening to tile, the Sidekick is amazing. Now, there's nothing big and clunky to wear around your neck, wear around your belt, and have these big headphones with cables going to the boxes and then boxes going out to the wand or whatnot. Guys, everything is in the Sidekick, and there's a cord that goes straight to your headphones. The only adjustment you have is the volume knob. You don't have to worry about frequencies or anything like that. So this kit really is amazing. But it also comes with the probe. This is like a probing rod. But you see it's got the box up here with all the controls in it. That is a stainless steel rod, so you can drive it down in the ground and not have any problems. If you want to learn more about Leak Pro, go to www.leak-pro.com. Check it out, because I'm telling you, this can be a game changer, no matter if it's your own company or if you're the plumber and you just want to learn how to do it. So great stuff here. And I am going to try. Colton, can you delete that last comment there? I don't see how to do it from where I'm at. Here's the deal. If you want to learn to do what we do, if you want to learn how to do YouTube, it's not hard. You've just got to have a coach. You've got to have somebody teach you. You've got to have somebody show you the right way to do it. But a lot of times people come to me and they say, Roger, look, I can't do it because. So what I did is I made a webinar. I made a webinar teaching people that the myths that they believe probably aren't true. So if doing YouTube is something you think you might be interested in, but you're like, look, there's something going on here. I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of that. Here's what I tell you. Go watch this webinar. I'm going to dispel those myths for you. and I'm going to teach you some things that might make you think, look, I could probably do this. And if you'll do that, I think it might set you off on a journey going the right direction. So if that's something you're interested in doing, please go to www.justmattroger.com and let me know what you think about it. So, guys, thank you so much for being here today. I am in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. Don't know if y'all can really see, but I'll try and spin this around. You know, if you look over my shoulder, it's not too bad out there. I'm right next to the marina, and I'm here to speak. So I speak here Friday. If y'all are in town, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Tell me hello. Tell me you're in town, and maybe we can get together for dinner or something. So anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for being here. We really do appreciate it. And we'll do this again tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Remember, whatever you do out there today, do it safe and hit it effing hard. Bye, guys.